Hi everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, and at last, I've been waiting this for bloody all summer really, probably even longer. At last, there seems to be a bit of movement around Manchester United and a centre defensive midfielder. Now, don't start counting your chickens yet. You might not even have any chickens. Don't count them. But it's looking better than it has all summer around Manchester United signing a centre defensive midfielder. We've got updates on Declan Rice, GORETZKA and Camavinga is still in the picture. So we'll go through those three. Also got an update on Varane. Talk of Calvert-Lewin. I mean, I feel like we're a bit of an Arsenal channel talking about Calvert-Lewin to United. We don't need those sorts of ridiculous stories from the Sun. Also, we'll be talking about people who are potentially leaving. Really interesting story about what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's involvement around Phil Jones' new contract was. Juan Mata as well. Bruno new contract and a few other things as well. I'll start off with a Varane update because I know that's what everyone wants to talk about, even though I want to talk about the CDM story which is coming in. But I just want to say, where we are at the moment, we are on the brink. If I am positive this Friday morning, we are on the brink. And morning to Corey Merrick and Daniel C and Ginger Jesus and Leo Renshaw, just to shout out to those people. We are on the brink of, if I'm positive, a really efficient summer. Jadon Sancho is done. All he's got to do is hold the shirt up. It's done. We don't need any more hype around that. Welcome to the club. Fantastic. We're working on this Varane deal, which I'll give you the update on now. And if we get a CDM done, that's it. That's the summer. That's all I wanted. Sancho, Varane, top class CDM. Thank you very much. Let's start the season. We're on the verge of a really efficient summer. Now we shouldn't get too excited yet, but Sancho's done. That's 33%. Get Varane in, 66%. Get the CDM in, 100% of what we need to do. All right, you can bring in a sub-goalkeeper, a backup right back if you want. Whoop-de-shit, couldn't care. But those three players would mark an efficient summer for United. And, we can do that. We've got plenty of time. We've got, 5-6 weeks till the start of the season? Let's get on with it. The momentum is there. The stories are there. Apparently, the desire is there from United. Let's see what happens. Let me give you an update on Varane, then we'll talk about the CDM. So the latest on Varane is that Manchester United want to pay a price of around £40 million, which will be about 50 million euros all in. 1 year left on his contract. There's lots of different talk. There's Spanish outlets. Welcome to the Members Club, John Caragu as well. Apparently Varane wants to decide his future very soon because he wants to know what he's doing, but he hasn't made the decision yet. Varying different reports. You could go from one spectrum where he's made his mind up, he's going to tell Madrid he wants to go and he wants to come to United, to he hasn't made his mind up yet, and that if Madrid improve the offer a little bit and Ancelotti says that he's key to his plans, he'll stay. People always say, well, what's your percentage about Varane? For me, at the moment, I'm still 50-50. It's up a little bit. I mean, I was 30% a few days ago. I'm 50-50. Got a long way to go to be in the 90% club. And I think anybody who starts saying, I really think this is going to happen, they're basically speculating and talking out their arse. There is nothing out there at the moment that you'd go, yes, this is going to happen. I still am very worried about committing to this deal, personally as a United fan, because that Ramos one just destroyed me. I mean, imagine getting Ramos 6 years ago when he was 28. I mean, imagine what we would have done with Ramos over the last 6 years. And it was as close as this. It was the same story. He's definitely leaving Madrid. He wants the new project. Virtually the same age as Varane is now. Wants a new project. Definitely going to leave. Manchester United are the preferred option. United are really in for him. It went on for about 2 weeks, really exciting, and then he signed a new contract. So pardon me for being a little bit, reticent and reserved about this deal. But look, I hope Varane comes to United. I think he's absolutely perfect. But at the moment, there's a lot to believe that we're trying to do the deal, and we are trying to do the deal. I'm not for 1 minute saying that this is paper talk. United want this deal. They definitely do. But is Varane going to, push that final push? I think he should. Let's see what happens. But I do want him to come to United, and let's see. As I said, United and quick doesn't normally happen. So how quick can United do a deal? This would, to do this deal in 2 weeks would be massively quick for us. This could be, look how long Sancho took. Look how long Pogba took. Look how long Bruno took. Look how long Harry Maguire took. This could be going on till the end of, could go on to the end of August, could be the start of August. We'll see. But I want to see some efficiency. I really, really do. Which brings me back to what I was saying. We could be on the verge of a really efficient, successful summer. You get Varane in after Jadon Sancho, and then it moves to what we're reading about this morning. Now, look, people will say, well, where's the outlet where it is? I mean, the story this morning is from the Mail, which is not great, but there has been quite a lot of talk about it for quite a while. There is a lot of talk that Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do want a midfielder. Now, the Mail is saying that Manchester United want defensive midfield competition for Fred and McTominay. I mean, that line's bullshit straight away, because McTominay and Fred are not centre defensive midfielders. So it's not competition. We don't have a CDM. The only CDM we've got is Matic, and he's done. We need to replace Matic. Matic should not... can I just say as well, we're going to talk about Mata and Jones in a little bit. Really interesting what Ollie has apparently said about the Jones situation. But we need to let Nemanja Matic go. He's another player that we don't need at the club. He was proved last year that he's not able to play games for United. So just move him on and bring a CDM in. Now, Declan Rice, GORETZKA and Camavinga are the three that United are transfer top targets. So, forget Bissouma. I think he'll go to Arsenal. I quite like him. But, forget Ruben Neves. We're not in for him either. So these are the three that we're looking at. All very, very difficult, but all probably the right calibre of CDM for Manchester United. And we definitely do want one, but I will take the positive that we're being linked to these types of players, because for me, I don't see how anybody, let alone the manager and coaches of United, would not sit down like all of you good people do and go, we need a CDM. I can't understand how they wouldn't do that. Unless Ollie sat there going, Carnegie, I'm really happy with Freddie and Scotty. I mean, maybe he is doing that, but that would be a massive concern for all of us. It's funny, actually, I had a dream last night that we actually bought for Varane and Sancho, but we lost our first 3 games of the season. And people were saying Ollie out, but and he didn't get the sack, because then we started winning games after that. Irrelevant. I don't believe in all that, predicting the future stuff. But Linus says Goretzka is a centre midfielder. I mean, you might want to watch more about Goretzka, actually, because that is not the case, mate. And I actually get quite bored of people dictating to people what people are. Like, do you live with Goretzka? Does he have breakfast with you, slamming his bloody cornflakes in your face, saying, I'm a centre midfielder! I am not a centre defensive midfielder. I am a centre midfielder. And if you want to say that again, I will throw cornflakes on your face again. I am not a centre midfielder. I mean, who are you? Who are you to tell people that Goretzka's not a centre defensive midfielder? Or that Donny... I mean, we've had this with Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek's a number 10 and nothing else. I mean, look, you know what? The great thing about this community is it's all about opinion. If you think he's a centre midfielder, that's absolutely fine. But you're not the dictator. You're not the owner of football. I've seen bloody Valencia go from a right winger to a right back. I've seen Ashley Young go from a right winger to a left back. I think I can see Goretzka playing as a CDM at Manchester United. So, these people, they get absolutely anal about Van der Beek's a number 10. He's a number 10. That's it. He's not he's not a box-to-box player. He's a number 10. I've watched Ajax since the 70s. I know I'm only 12, but I have. I've watched videos on Betamax. He's definitely a number 10. You're wrong. You're wrong. Because football is adaptive. Pep Guardiola could probably take a centre-back and turn him into a number 9. Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp could probably take a wing-back and turn him into a left winger. Things can change. I do agree that, actually, from what I've seen of Goretzka, he's probably not a specialist centre defensive midfielder. I actually think what I've seen of Goretzka, I'm not convinced about his positional awareness, but he's definitely big. He's definitely brilliant on the ball. He was sort of, it's the same conversation I was having about Locatelli. I don't really see Locatelli as a CDM, but actually for his club side, he pretty much plays as a CDM. But you watch him for Italy, and he's got that ability to break from midfield and get in the box. And that's Goretzka as well. So I do agree with people saying, well, he's not a specialist CDM. But Manchester United might, maybe that's where they would, maybe you play Goretzka and Pogba. Maybe it would. I don't know. But look, let's not get into the whole, detail here. I don't think we're going to sign Goretzka. Goretzka is a name that's been linked to us, but if you listen to the sources from Germany, there is a strong belief that Manchester United are being used as a vehicle to get the new contract that Goretzka wants at Bayern Munich. So I think we can cross Goretzka off. which we probably should have done a lot quicker. So I think we can cross GORETZKA off anyway, so I don't think we need to worry too much about whether he's a specialist CDM or not. He certainly played that position for Bayern Munich, and he certainly played a more advanced position for Bayern Munich. But I don't think United will go for him. At 26, he'd be quite expensive as well. Why do you think Rice is the right calibre? We constantly talk about players who can pass the ball forward and break the lines. Rice doesn't do that, says Ben Anderson. Sorry to go off topic, but I really enjoyed the reaction video yesterday. Would love to see you react to Castro Rage moments. Okay, Daniel Kirk, I'm sure we can do that. And fans are only saying that GORETZKA isn't a CDM because he isn't a specialist and Ollie is not Klopp. The coaching won't improve him, says Julian S. Okay. Well, look, Declan Rice is another player we're linked to. So we've spoken about GORETZKA. If you joined in a little bit late, United more and more, which I think is a real positive. Obviously, Varane is the priority at the moment, but more and more, United are being linked with a centre defensive midfielder, which I think is real positive. Now, whether this depends on Pogba leaving or what, it shouldn't do. I suppose United's big problem is raising the funds. Apparently we've got £150 million. We've spent 70 on Sancho, which leaves us with another 80, which would be hard to get Varane and the CDM, but you never know. Can you also call Couve is a Brexit footballer, says Ethan. Okay, thank you very much. But so yeah, GORETZKA I don't think will happen. Declan Rice is definitely looking for a move from West Ham. Declan Rice is definitely a specialist centre defensive midfielder. And to go back to that previous point, Declan Rice can definitely pass the ball forward. Declan Rice at West Ham and for England is restricted. He's restricted by Moyes and he's restricted by Southgate because he does a fantastic job as a CDM. But if he's given, if you let him off his lead, he's actually quite a decent footballer. He can drive with the ball. His passing ability is good. He's an actually very, very talented player, Declan Rice. And I think he would be a fantastic player for Manchester United. He's only, 21, 22? Captain of West Ham, running the midfield for England and West Ham. And I think that he's definitely ready to take that step. And for anybody who thinks that Declan Rice is overrated, well, that's absolutely fine because Manchester United probably won't sign him anyway. But when he does go to Chelsea or he does go to Manchester City and he becomes one of the best CDMs in Europe, you can look back and go, you said he was overrated. I don't think he's overrated. I would love him at Manchester United. I would be massively excited about that deal. I think he's got leadership qualities. I think he's got a lot more in the tank to develop, and I think already he shows a lot of discipline, maturity and ability in that position. And I think, with under the tutelage of a Michael Carrick, I think he'll go to another level. But as I've always been told, he wants to move to Chelsea, and maybe that's where he's going to go. But I would take Declan Rice, 100%. I would take Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice, Rafael Varane, and Jadon Sancho would be the summer I dreamt about, really. And that doesn't mean I'm Glazers in. I'm not. But that's the summer I would expect a Chelsea club to provide their manager, or a Liverpool club to provide their manager, or a Man City club to provide their manager. I think people get overexcited about Sancho, Varane, and Rice. I'm not. I would be very happy with that and I would applaud it, but I wouldn't be overexcited. This is Manchester United. We've got 3 gaping holes in our team. That's just filling the holes. You could almost say, well, they filled the holes. Let's have a bonus signing as well. So, go and get us a top class striker as well. But I'm not asking for that. But I am asking for the CDM, the centre back, and the right winger. I think it's what should be provided. But I think as a fan base, we're like Oliver from that bloody thing. Or can we have some more, sir? We should expect it. Should be expected. We hear all about the interaction and all the brand deals and all the wealth, and yet we get bloody, we start having a dancing in the street when we sign a player. Oh, we've signed Sancho! Hallelujah! I can't believe it! I'm thinking about buying the new kit and burning my green and gold scarf. Glazers in! And it's like, no thanks, this is Manchester United, it's our football club, you should be buying these players as standard. So I would like Declan Rice. Of course, he's training with England, he gets on well with Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, but his best mate's Mason Mount, and he plays for Chelsea, and that's where he wants to go. So, I'd love Declan Rice to come to Manchester United. Manchester United are huge admirers of Declan Rice, they would love to bring him to the club. I think Declan Rice would come to Manchester United as long as Chelsea don't bid for him. If they do, I don't think it can happen, but he would be perfect in my opinion. Mark, I watch a lot of football. He's very similar to McTominay, GORETZKA, but both physically dominant but box players, says Ramnish. Thanks for that, mate. And of course that leaves us with Camavinga, and I think the 3 options that United are looking at, GORETZKA's 26, Declan Rice is 22, Camavinga is 18. So you've got 8 years difference between the youngest and the oldest, and I think a lot of people would rather go for Camavinga because he's younger. Personally, I would rather go my three, and I don't know what yours is. If you had to choose out of which was most important, I'd go Declan Rice 1, Camavinga 2, Goretzka 3. I don't even really want Goretzka, so it'd be Camavinga or Declan Rice for me. Camavinga's one for the future. You bring him into the team, he's not going to play straight away every game. I don't think Ollie would do that. I think it would still be McTominay or Fred or whoever, and a bit like Diallo, we would slowly bed him into the team. I don't mind that, but actually I want somebody to come straight into the team. Declan Rice is Premier League proven. He'd come straight into the team. He's the one I prefer. Camavinga, again, there will be arguments about what he is, but I think at 18, it's very difficult to say he's a specialist CDM or he's a specialist box-to-box. His biggest attribute for me is his tenacity and his tackling, so therefore, surely he can be a CDM. But he might see himself as something else growing out. But those would be the three that United are looking at the moment, and I take that as a positive. The fact that we are talking about Camavinga, Declan Rice, and Goretzka to Manchester United shows that there are considerations being made for midfielders. My only concern is that are these being made in case Pogba leaves? Because I think if Pogba stays, we won't buy a midfielder, and I think that's shocking, absolutely shocking. But if I said to you next season we've got Varane, Declan Rice and Jadon Sancho and Pogba staying, I think everybody would expect us to challenge for the title. We probably wouldn't win it, but I would expect that. And that's the thing, we're that close. The efficiency is that close. Bissouma is better than Rice, Mark. Rice is limited, says Joshua Harper. I disagree, Joshua, but that's your opinion. Saucy Sancho down the wing, Saucy Sancho crossing in, Saucy Sancho bossing the wing, Saucy Sancho playing Cavani in, says Grant Pulteney. Goretzka bid accepted from Bayern plus Mason Greenwood. Yeah, okay, Danish. And Bissouma is one we should be looking at, says Advath. I'm a firm advocate of that. I absolutely would love to for that to happen. I would love to bring Bissouma to the club. I don't know why we're not looking at Bissouma. Very impressed with him. I think Premier League proven as well, reasonably priced. I think we could give James Garner to Brighton for a season as well. It could work out really well. But United are not in for Bissouma, and he is for sale. So we're just not in for him. Tranai says Rice is 100% limited, mate. Again, it's like you've had your say. Like, move on. You think Declan Rice is limited, right? Why does Pep Guardiola want him? Why does Tuchel want him? And why does Ollie want him then? If Tunai is telling us that Rice is 100% limited, why do three of the biggest clubs in the world want to buy him then? And riddle me that. But it's your opinion. I'm not saying I do think you're wrong, but tell me why three of the biggest clubs in the world want to buy Declan Rice and want to pay overpriced for Rice as well. He's English. He's going to cost 20 million more than he's worth anyway. So if he's so limited, why do those clubs want him? And all I will say is, in a couple of years when he's playing for Chelsea or he's playing for Man City, I won't remember because I can't be arsed, but I'd like to remember and come back and say, remember all those people who said Declan Rice was limited? We need one CDM that goes directly into the team or starting 11. Rice or Bissouma is the man, not Camavinga now for me. And I would agree with you on that, Frederick. I'm not going to turn my nose up at Camavinga. I think he's a fantastic talent and he could be one of the best players in the world very, very soon. But I do want a player that drops straight into the team. I suppose the only thing with Bissouma is, would Ollie treat him like Van der Beek? Would he be like, oh, you're a Brighton player, you've got to learn the ropes from McTominay and Fred? I don't know. I'd be interested. English players tend to stay loyal, so my choice would be Rice. Camavinga will eventually be bought by Madrid or Barcelona, Suspector 101. I wonder if there's something in that, actually. That's quite an interesting point. I wonder if United are thinking about buying English players more because they do stay loyal. Be interesting, Jadon Sancho coming into the club at 21. Is he going to be here for 10 years, or at 25, is he going to be angling for Real Madrid or Barcelona? It'd be interesting to see how that works. I do like Zakaria as well. I don't think United are linked to him. Please smash a like on the video, by the way, and make sure you subscribe. You might have noticed a little bit of a change to the live chat, actually. Subscriber chat only now. So, that's nothing. It just means you need to subscribe to the channel, which is, it's just a click of a button. But some people might have noticed that, some people might not. Susan Brandon says, thanks. Oh, no, I thought she said, thanks, Mark. I would take Botman over Varane if it means we get a better CDM, says Mahad. Technically, yes. Interesting thing I wanted to bring in here, just talking about players that we've currently got. Romano mentioned last night that United are working on a new contract for Bruno. Very, very happy that we're looking at a new contract for Bruno. But, at the end of the day, I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit old school on this. I don't really count new contracts as big news. 20 years ago when someone signed a new contract, it wasn't Sky Sports. Sky Sports, breaking news. Bruno Fernandes, 5-year deal, £250 million a week. It didn't used to be breaking news. A new contract to me is, if you're Manchester United, a new contract should be like a bowl of cornflakes. Cornflakes are getting mentions this morning. But it should be. You're at Manchester United. This is where you want to be. You sign a new contract. And that probably was a result of our success 20 years ago. 20 years ago, Ryan Giggs signs a new contract. Roy Keane signs a new contract. Whoever. It was like, all right, okay, carry on with my day. Now it's like, oh my God, Bruno's going to sign a new deal. Let's make a video. Let's do an edit. And I'm like, he should be signing a new deal. If people don't want to sign new deals, that's a big indication that the club is failing. So yeah, Bruno's signing a new deal, and also his wages are shit. I think his wages are about 100 grand, so he needs to be going up to about 250. So it makes sense. Juan Mata looks like he'll sign a new deal. Totally against this, as I've said before. Don't want to dwell on this. Juan Mata should not be signing a new contract at United. He's not good enough anymore. We're not a charity. We're meant to be a football club. We need to be ruthless. If Pep and Klopp and other managers are able to move players on when they're not worth it anymore, then why are we not doing that? Jobs for the boys club needs to stop. You're not going to win things by looking after your mates, and United need to be more ruthless. But really interesting here, what involvement does Ollie have in this? Because there's a story this morning from the Manchester Evening News I read saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was shocked by the contract that Phil Jones was given in 2019. He was shocked that the club gave him a 5-year deal. Now, it's interesting because a lot of people want to blame Ollie. I believe clubs want rice when they make a bid, says Joshua Harper. Well, they will make a bid, Joshua. But I think that in relation, Messi is a free agent. Should United look at that? Says Pranav. No. We don't need Messi. Mark, why Sancho is so quiet about Man United moves? Says Jayling's fam. Because because it's not officially done. It's not officially done, is it? The clubs can announce it, but it's not Sancho's thing. Sancho's probably been told to be quiet about it as well, because United will want the shirt sales. They want the buzz. So Sancho's first words, United will have said to Sancho, the first words from you about United, we want you to be sat in a new kit with team viewer on it. It's probably part of the deal. On Messi, of course, anyone would like Messi, but it's not going to happen. Steve Locke says Trippier news has gone quiet. CDM and no backup right back. I hope so, Steve. I don't think we need a backup right back. We don't need Messi. We don't need Ronaldo. We don't need Neymar. We don't need Mbappe. These are all world-class players, but we don't need them. And, if you're one of those idiots like, let me shout him out, Fury Craft, laughing that we don't need Messi, get back onto your FIFA game, mate, because you don't understand football. Messi's the best player in the world. Let's bring him to Manchester United. I mean, what sort of stupid Real Madrid early noughties Galactico bullshit attitude is that? We're building a team. Does Messi solve the CDM problem? Does he solve the centre-back problem? No, he doesn't. You build a team. Like every great manager of the last 50 years have been quoted as saying you've got to build a team. Some of them say you need to build from the back. Some of them say you need to build a spine. You don't just go and spend all your money on Lionel Messi. Oh, Lionel, you're a free agent. Here's all our transfer budget. Because that's what it would take. Messi will be on some bloody ridiculous wage. Oh, let's spend our whole budget on Messi because he's the best player in the world. We don't need Messi. We need a centre-back, a CDM. We've got Sancho in. Got Cavani for another year. Messi's, What if Arsenal spent everything on Messi? They bloody remortgaged the whole of the Emirates to buy Messi. Would you be scared playing Arsenal with Messi next season if we've got a centre-back, a CDM and Sancho? I'd be like, all right then. They've got the best player in the world, but they haven't got a team. You've got to build a team. It amazes me how people would rather go and get the world's best player than actually build a team. Oh, we've got Messi, but McTominay and Fred are still playing, and so's Maguire and Lindelof. Great. We've just lost to Burnley. I get it. Messi's a fantastic player, but it's what's the word? I can think of a few words. It's virtue signalling. It's basically like, oh, look at this, look at what I've got, but there's no substance to it. I'm in love with Camavinga. He's quite experienced for his age too, says Daniel Kirk. Mark, it's my birthday today. I'm 26. Would you please do me an honour of Gary Barlow birthday shout out? Your legend. Much love. Nick McCabe, I think it's absolutely fantastic. Fantastic, Nick. It's absolutely incredible that you're 26 years of age today on the day that we're talking about a centre defensive midfield potentially, maybe, incredibly joining Manchester United this summer. Absolutely happy birthday, Nick. Probably not my best, but there you go. Owenstein on Sky says, Varane deal definitely a possibility and Madrid want to cash in if Manchester United pay up, says Joe. Yeah, I mean, look, Real Madrid want to keep Rafael Varane, but if he says he's going, as Perez said, if he says he's going, they will do a deal to get him out. But at the moment, I'm 50-50. And I will tell you when I'm higher than that. I mean, what percentage are you that Varane's going to come to United? Are you going to jump on the positivity train because we've finally signed Sancho? I mean, look, what I would say is, there's a lot of buzz around United's transfer activity at the moment, and I agree with that buzz. I really, really do. But what is the buzz based upon? Always be careful with the Glazers and the spin. Manchester United employed somebody who used to work for The Sun as a spin artist at Manchester United. You know what a spin artist is? They're getting the positivity stories out there to manipulate your mind. That's what spin is. Look at politics. They have these spin doctors. They're not doctors who go around with those spinny things. They're actually, PR people who drop stories into the media to make their political party or leader look good. Manchester United have got people who are doing that. Now, look at what's happened. Jadon Sancho is a very good signing, but this is a year in the making. It's last year's summer signing. So anybody who's getting really excited going, oh, Murtaugh this and Fletcher that and the Glazers this and Woodward that and, maybe that's going to happen. We can have a really efficient, good summer. We can do, and I'll applaud it like everybody else. But right here, right now, we've signed Jadon Sancho a year late and we're interested in Varane. And people are like, I'm walking in like a boss. United are back. Let's see the proof in the pudding. Let's see what the substance is. Let's taste the pudding. Let's see what it does when we've eaten it. Because it might make us throw up. I don't know. Welcome to the Members Club Orlando. Thank you. If you want to become a member, click the join button and you get a badge next to your name. Thanks for supporting the channel. Big up the TUS army. Thoughts on the rumours of Bruno's new contract? Spoken about that, Salah. I'm sorry, I can't go on. I can't repeat myself. It's not UK Gold. There's so much to get through and people are putting good questions in. So yeah, at the moment, I've got to talk about Calvert-Lewin as well. I need to talk about Phil Jones as well. I don't mind going off on a tangent. Anybody who watches my own channel will know I'm very, very capable of going off on a tangent. But I won't forget about Phil Jones and Calvert-Lewin. I'd like to forget about Phil Jones as a Manchester United player, but I'm not going to. But yeah, I think that in relation to Varane at the moment, a lot of people are saying 60%, 50-50. Some are saying 70%. I would say, look, if you're optimistic about this deal, fantastic. I can't be, because this deal to me is way harder than Sancho. It's more significant than Sancho. He actually is a ready-made best centre-back in the world than anything that we've got. He's not the best centre-back in the world, but he's in the top 5. And if you're in the top 5, you're in that conversation. For United to get Varane would be absolutely huge. Nobody else wanted Sancho. For whatever reason, probably the price, nobody else was in the race for Sancho. They never were, last summer or now. United always win those races. With Varane, lots of people want Varane. And, he is one of the world's best centre-backs. He's 28, experience. He's perfect for United. I'm 50-50 that we'll do that deal. At the moment, there is not enough for me to think he's going to go and sign a new deal at Madrid, because we saw, I remember this identical situation with Ramos. So I'm 50-50. I hope we can do it. And if we do this deal, then and only then will I start to say, look, there's been a change in United's transfer policy. They're finally getting things done efficiently that they should have been doing for a long, long time. Now let's get a CDM. Anyway, on to Phil Jones. The story this morning from Manchester Evening News was that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was shocked that Manchester United gave Phil Jones a 5-year deal. Now, I found this really interesting because a lot of people think that Phil Jones' contract was sanctioned by Ole. Ole only got the job as an interim manager in mid-December. Phil Jones was announced contract 5 years at the end of January. Now, people will say, well, Ole had 6 weeks to do that. He was an interim manager. And at that point, Ole wasn't even expected to stay beyond the summer. He'd only been there 6 weeks. We'd had a good 6 weeks, but the contract wasn't sorted for Ole then. The signing of Phil Jones' 5-year deal was not on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and this story is clearly an indication of that being the fact. Ole was apparently shocked that Man United gave Phil Jones a 5-year deal. Weren't we all? But it wasn't based on Ole. Mourinho might have had something to do with it, but he'd already gone. But ultimately, it's the board. It's Ed Woodward and co. They're the ones who sanctioned that deal, not Solskjaer. Solskjaer couldn't have sanctioned that deal because a contract isn't resolved in a month. You know, there's back and forth with agents and all sorts of things. So the Phil Jones deal, it's encouraging that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually was shocked by that, because the fans were shocked by that. It's one of the most stupid deals we've ever done. 5-year deal for a player that's probably been injured for the 5 years before it and has been injured pretty much every day since. So, yeah, but this brings in about, there's also in the same article, they're talking about Eric Bailly. And basically, the story about Eric Bailly is because of loyalty payments and etc., Manchester United say it's financially better to give a new contract to Eric Bailly because his price goes up and they don't have to pay loyalty fees, etc. But I think this is banking again. I think we've seen this time and time again with Manchester United. We've seen it with Pereira, with Mata, Bailly, Phil Jones. There are other examples as well where we would rather give somebody a contract than sell them or let them walk out the door. And sometimes, you know, you buy a car 4 years ago and 4 years later, you know, it's ready for the scrap heap and you just let it go. But it's like United would go, no, let's get the MOT on it, let's get some new interior in it, and let's keep it. You know, it's past its sell-by date. Let it go. So yeah, but this has been a common theme with United. You know, a player comes to the end of the contract, a player's not really good. You know, two good examples here are Mata and Pereira. Pereira's mid-20s, never going to be good enough, but still at the club. We still gave him a big contract. Never going to be a United player, never going to be a United bench player, not good enough, he's still here. Juan Mata has been a Man United player, has been good enough, but is a has-been now. Not good enough for United. Oh, let's keep him here. And I don't know why they do it. I think they do it because I think the Glazers, Woodward and everyone, because of their banking background, they look at football and they bring banking fundamentals and principles into it. You know, it's an asset. You can't just let an asset, you know, depreciate. Let's build that asset up. Let's keep it. Let's secure that asset in our portfolio so it's firmly ours. Nobody can take it away. You know, it's got a value, and I think that's what they do with players. But football's just not like that. Morning, Mark. I could see our board doing a deal for Pau Torres and Eric Bailly, says Mikael Roach. Well, Pau Torres is definitely Manchester United's reserve option for Varane. I tell you what, at this point, and I know a lot of you do like Pau Torres. If Manchester United end up signing Pau Torres, I'll be massively disappointed, because the difference between Rafael Varane and Pau Torres is that, you know, Varane is on a different level to Pau Torres, and as I said, you probably pay about the same money. Financially, it will probably cost us about the same transfer fee, etc. And also, if you buy Pau Torres, you've got to reshake up your whole back four. Maguire will have to move away from the left side to the right side for Pau Torres to play there, which means Shaw and Torres is a new relationship, Torres and Maguire is a new relationship, and Maguire and Wan-Bissaka is a new relationship, and maybe a goalkeeper as well. So you've got a lot of different relationships in that back four. Whereas if you bring Varane in, Maguire stays with Shaw, they know each other. Obviously, Maguire's got to get used to Varane. That's going to happen when you buy a new centre-back, and Varane obviously gets used to Wan-Bissaka. So I think it's least disruption and a better player to bring in Rafael Varane. Hi, Mark. Which centre-back do you think we should buy if Varane does not sign? Pau Torres doesn't seem that good, says Aditya. Well, you make a good point. If we don't get Varane because he stays at Real Madrid or whatever, I think we go from having a high-standard centre-back to another Lindelof or another Eric Bailly, where we just don't know what we're getting. So yeah, Torres ain't Varane, Botman ain't Varane. Koundé, I like Koundé, but I think United have moved away from that deal. But he's not Varane either. So I think that I hope it's Varane. But because I just think he's the perfect fit for United. And the thing I like about Varane the most is that he's 28. Which is roughly the same age as Maguire, and you get these two very experienced centre-backs who there's no excuses for them to fail. I think they'll help each other out. I think they complement each other really, really well as well. So yeah, that to me it's just, you know, you bring Pau Torres in, you expect a level of adaptation because he's young. You bring Koundé in, you expect a level of adaptation because he's young. You bring Varane in and you just go, hold on a minute, you've won the World Cup, you've won 3 Champions Leagues, you've won La Liga, I think he's won 4 Champions Leagues actually. Mr. Experience, drop him straight into the team. It's just a world of difference bringing in a player of that quality for sure. Whoever thinks Pau Torres is better than Varane is a big fat prat, says Tom G. Well, we don't need to be fattest, but look, it's all about opinion. Of course it is. I mean, I think 80% of people would say that Varane is a better centre-back than Torres, but there is a bit of a weird obsession with Pau Torres in our fan base. Some people seem to think he's the next coming of Van Dijk or something like that. I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, look, I'd back him if we did, but Aditi says, who do you think will be the realistic outgoings for Manchester United? At this point, I don't know. I think Man United aren't ruthless enough when it comes to outgoings. I mean, Dalot apparently could go, but we want money, which is the right thing. Mata looks like he's signing a new contract. That's a waste of money. Matic should be going. Lingard definitely should be going. But look, I'll tell you this now. I'll give you a little prediction. I've always said this. I like Jesse Lingard, but listen to this, right? Lingard is probably the most naturally fit player in the Manchester United squad. He is running around Greece at the moment, training. You can check his Instagram out, right? He is going to come back in pre-season and he is going to be levels above everybody else. I've seen us go on. I've seen us do tours before with Lingard, and he's like Messi Lingard. He's so his fitness levels are so good. In pre-season, he looks like he's on a different level. Then everybody else catches up, and Lingard becomes Lingard again, who's not a starter for United. So I can just imagine Jesse coming back, tearing it up, and old Ollie and Carricky going, oh, look at him, Carricky, he's brilliant. He's a new player. And then by the transfer window closes, he's back on the bench again. He's not happy. We're not using him. And it's like, yeah, we should have sold him. So I think Jesse should move. I think it's nothing to do with United. I think he should go. I mean, if he can't take the hints from what he did at West Ham, surely you want to play football. Surely you want to be the star of the team. It's never going to happen at United. The thing I've always said about Lingard is that he's a superb player when he's got space to run into. Spin and run into space. You don't get that space to spin and run into for United because teams don't play that high up. Sometimes against Liverpool, sometimes against Man City, sometimes against Chelsea. But 90% of the season, the teams don't give you that space to spin into. You go and play for West Ham, you go and play for Leicester, you go and play for Everton, you'll get that space to spin into. So he'll be a better player at a club, not only where he'll play every game, but also where the style of football. It's like Dan James. Dan James is never going to be, and I'm not comparing Dan James to Lingard. I think Lingard's on a different level to Dan James. But what I'm saying is, they are both players that they need space to run into. They're perfectly made for teams like Leicester, for teams like Everton, for teams like West Ham. These teams that are not top 4 teams, but they're sort of between 4 and 10th, where teams will attack you. Everton go and play Burnley. Burnley will fancy the chances. West Ham play Burnley. They'll fancy the chances. They won't park the bus against them, which is perfect for people like Lingard. Might see a big improvement in Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Sancho in front and Varane beside. Varane beside, says Nicky. Yeah, great point. What's your opinion about Kimmich as a CDM, says Aurora? Mate, if we could get Kimmich, I would be grinning for months. I mean, Kimmich to me is the quintessential centre defensive midfielder. He'd be absolutely perfect, but he ain't going to leave Bayern, is he? Keeping the likes of Lingard, Mata, Matic stops the growth of our younger players. Ahmad, Hannibal, even Greenwood. Be ruthless. Yeah, you've got to be aggressive. Look, I've always said this, and I know a lot of you have said it as well. In the transfer market, you've got to be aggressive in what you go and get. So Varane would be an aggressive, positive deal. And in relation to removal of players, you've got to be ruthless. You've got to look beyond the personality, beyond what they've done for the club, and you've got to go, your time's up, or you're not good enough. Bye-bye. And that's what you've got to do. That's what we used to do. That's what United used to do. Oh, God, look at bloody Sir Alex Ferguson with Van Nistelrooy, David Beckham, ruthless. Get out my club. What about the summer of, was it the summer of 95? Mark Hughes, Paul Ince, Kanchelskis, off you go. I mean, look, I think Ollie has got selective hearing when it comes to we're doing it the United way, because he doesn't do it the United way. Like substitutions at any time, Sir Alex Ferguson would do them. Ruthlessness in the transfer market of getting players that he doesn't think he needs anymore. These are 2 things that Ollie could do. Is Man United really considering Sionku? No, Ryan, we're not. And I must just mention Calvert-Lewin. The Sun have come out today and said that Manchester United are considering Calvert-Lewin. We're absolutely not looking at Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin, Everton would not. Everton are a rich club, for one. If they sold Calvert-Lewin, they would want more than we paid for Lukaku, so they would want £80 million. We would not spend £80 million on Calvert-Lewin when you can get Haaland for that in a year, and Harry Kane for about 40 million more than that. So Calvert-Lewin, I like Calvert-Lewin. I think at Manchester United he'd be an interesting signing, but we're not in for Calvert-Lewin. It is complete and utter paper talk. But I kept it to last because I think it's a really good point to resonate with you. Like, if you're Arsenal, that's probably your lead story. If the Sun link you to Calvert-Lewin, that's probably your lead story. I'm not being disrespectful to Arsenal, but, you know, what are they doing? We don't need to focus on Calvert-Lewin to Manchester United in the Sun because there's plenty of stuff going on that's very credible from other areas. So we don't need to spend any time on Calvert-Lewin in the Sun to Manchester United because it's not going to happen. It's just speculative nonsense that we don't need to focus on. And I take that as a positive. There's a lot of credible things going on. Sancho's been done. Varane is credible. We're trying to do it. And we're starting to now get credible stories about a centre defensive midfielder. If we can come out of this summer with Sancho, Varane and a top quality CDM, look, I'm still going to be Glazers out, but that would be a fantastic summer for us. It really, really would. Also, the Euros are back today, everybody. I've not even mentioned that. The Euros are back today as well, so we're buzzing for that, aren't we? I will be doing both games today and both games tomorrow. Watch-alongs, Mark Goldbridge, That's Football. Make sure you search it and subscribe. We're live from 4:30 with Spain against Switzerland. Don't think De Gea will be in goal. I think he should be in goal after that mistake that Unai made last Monday, wasn't it? But very excited for Belgium, Italy as well. No United players involved in either game, which is interesting. But England is basically where the United players are now. But yeah, I'll be watching both of those. Join me for those. Have a fantastic day. Make sure you smash a like on the video because we've nearly got 2,000 likes before the video's even over, which is great. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, especially when you get involved. If you want to get involved in the chat. Thanks to everyone in the chat. TUS Army, fantastic. Thanks for anyone who became a member. Thanks for subscribing. Big shout out to Nee Desmond, who I can see is a member. He's got his badge there. And Graham Farrell. Big up to you. And we have got a show tonight at 10 o'clock. I don't think we'll have a show at 7 o'clock because extra time in the first game compresses between 5 and 8. But we have got a show at 10 o'clock tonight. We might have something this afternoon if something develops around the Varane deal. Thanks everyone for watching. You're all superstars. I'll speak to you all in a bit.